Is this new way of managing to be human, a nicer way to manage, but far too soft? Well, one of the things that it doesn't annoy me, but I always kind of react to it when I hear people using the word soft, that this is a softer way, and managing to be human is kind of a softer way to manage. And Ricardo Semler, who again very much puts this into practice and lives it in his company Semco in Sao Paulo in Brazil, he's saying it's actually a tougher, a harder and more demanding way to manage in a human way than managing in the traditional kind of bureaucratic way. So I want to talk a little bit about that. So just let's have a look at this organization and see what you think of it. In this organization, I just want you thinking about what kind of organization it is and whether you like it or not. So people have to perform to very high standards in this kind of organization that I'm alluding to or talking about. There are very clear and very challenging goals that are set. Thirdly, there are lots of rules to be complied with. Good performance is always highlighted and recognized, and poor or unsatisfactory performance is never let go unchallenged. Now, you might be beginning to dislike this organization, but bear with it, okay? People have to perform well to belong, and if they don't, they leave or are let go. Might be looking too human at this stage, depending on your version of what being human means. 6, there are strict disciplines that are applied and that people adhere to. Sloppiness is not tolerated. People's personal likes or dislikes or preferences or wishes are not always met and often take second place. Everyone is held accountable for their performance and for the fulfillment of their role. And you might feel this is, remember I talked the last about company A, B and C. A is the old autocratic traditional company, B is the more modern company, and C is the organization that we want to get to, a very different way of working. You might feel this is more A than B, not to mention C. 9, people cooperate and work together, but when a need arises, one person calls the shots. And finally, people are expected to make extraordinary efforts to be successful, and for this are expected to endlessly practice and improve their skills in their roles. That looks a fairly tough organization, doesn't it? So I'm just wondering what you're feeling about it and whether you would like to work for it or not. But let's ask a few questions. First of all, I'm asking, would you like to work in this kind of situation or environment? And it's a rhetorical question, don't answer. Secondly, what comes to your mind, or what situation comes to mind when you read these 10 descriptors? Suppose I said that thousands, indeed millions of people want to and do belong to this kind of situation or organization, and do so very willingly and happily. So again, I want you to think of what kind of organization would that be where people not only are willing but actually want to, millions, want to work, want to belong to, not work, want to belong to that kind of organization, Kira, and others. And my next one is, do you know why? Do you know what these organizations are that people freely and willingly and joyfully want to belong to them? What am I talking about? Possibly. I'm not talking about that, but it's a possibility.
Clubs.
Pardon?
Clubs.
What kind of clubs?
Say, for example, the soccer clubs.
Yeah, sports teams. Sports teams. All those 10 apply to sports teams, don't they, Kira? All those 10 apply to sports teams, Kira McGeady. In other words, why? Why do they want, I could go back over those 10, and you will see that those 10 apply to any good sports team. I'm not holding up sports as the model for anything in society, but it's a fact that those 10 are part and parcel of belonging to a sports team. What makes the difference? What's the one thing that makes the difference? All the difference. They want to. They want to. They want to. And that's what Ricardo Semler is saying. How can we get people to want to belong to an organization like that? Because if you get them belonging to an organization like that and it works in that way, it will be 100 times more successful in every sphere of life, including profitability and products and services, etc., 100 times more successful than the traditional way we manage people.
I have a job to do to implement the company's policy or ways of working or strategy or whatever it is that I've been asked to do, but what this gives me the freedom to do is to respect my own values, what's important to me, and to trust that if I feel like it's the right thing to do, I can add my own value to it as well. So I'm not just the person that the company puts in there, give me a book and read the rule book and go off with it. I can bring myself into work, and in fact I'm obliged to bring myself and encourage others to be the person who they are and apply their own personality to what they're doing within work and their own values and what's important to them as well, which then makes it much more powerful and much more personal, and I think people connect a lot better.
Why much more powerful?
Because it's a fuller part of you that you're bringing into work. So you're not just a token of your company or the college course, whatever you attended, you are who you are and your values bring into it.
So you can see, managing in this human way is anything but soft. In fact, it is far more demanding than traditional management styles. It's also far more powerful and gets much better results.